Hi, I'm Stacy, the geriatric gymnast. I'm at Flipper's Gym. A couple people have asked me to do tutorials on back handsprings, so I thought I'd kind of show you some of the things that I think about with my 52-year-old aging body. I don't flip on the floor or on the tumble track. It's just they're too hard for my body, so I flip on the trampoline. I'll do some pre-warm-up exercises, and then I'll get on the trampoline and show you some ideas. So first things first, we're gonna do some core and whole body stuff so that for the snap down phase of the handspring, that's really important to keep everything super tight. So I wanna warm up with that. And those actually help me to remember to keep my legs together, keep everything really tight, keep everything pulled into the middle, so that when I transfer that over onto the trampoline, everything will be tight. I also want to get into doing some handstands just to get that sense of, arms by the ears, shoulder alignment, shoulder positioning for that upside down phase of the back handspring. Next, I want to start really warming up my core and really feeling that kind of tight center, like the hip flexors and the lower abdomen. So I'm going to do just some back bouncing, which is harder than it looks, but I'll just show you what I do. I'm thinking about keeping my legs together, just as I would in the back handspring. And the next thing I like to do are donkey kicks, which is basically knees, hands, but then snap down to feet, because that's like the tail end of the handspring. It helps you to keep the legs together, keep this nice and tight, pointing the feet, popping off of the arms with the shoulders, a lot of things. The idea is keeping those arms by the shoulders, popping off, pushing off the fingers, letting the scapular blades do a lot of that work, and then snapping down with your feet together and arms staying up. So there are a couple different approaches to executing the actual handspring. One is with the arm swing, one is boundering, and one is like one jumping in. I used to only do the arm swing because any other way made me nervous, but then I learned how to do the bounder in, and actually it puts you at exactly the right angle, because you need to be at like a 45-degree angle in order to get the length to go far on your handspring, which you really want when you want to do connections. I'm going to demonstrate all three, and I'll talk about each one. First one is going to be the bounder in. This is the one that I was most afraid of, and then once I figured it out, I was like, oh, that's good. I start away from the end. I'm going to go bounder, 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 2 feet together with my arms up over my head. And then the last one, before I take off, my feet are going to be in front of my hips. And that's going to put me at the angle where I want to be. So that one wasn't great because I didn't get a good block. My hands touched, but I didn't really feel like they really pushed into the bed. And that one was actually good. I felt my hands pushing into the bed, and it actually helped me push further back onto the trampoline, so that was a good one. The standing without the arm swing, it's kind of similar. I take a little bit of a bounce to get into it, and I really want to make sure that my feet are in front of my hips, so I get to that angle. So I'll show that. I think my feet were apart on that one. That one was better. It's hard because there's so many things to think about when you're doing back handsprings, and especially when you do the arm swing one, which I'll demonstrate next. The hardest part is getting that angle, because you're starting from a straight line and then you're swinging back, and when you're swinging back, your hips have to start to go back, and that's the scariest part about it when you're starting out, is that like lean back. So I'll show you what that lean back is without actually pushing into the handspring. Okay. I'm gonna sit back, but if I don't push, I'm gonna land on my butt, which on a trampoline is not a big deal. What you wanna do is time it so that at that back swing, you're at that angle, and then the arms swing up, you're pushing into that angle that you want, pushing off of your toes and sending your hands to the back corner of the room so you get that like kind of double rainbow effect. I'll try that again. I don't think that was very good. That one was a little better. I'm gonna try one more because I'm not convinced that my feet were together. Now I'm gonna focus on that. Of course you think of one thing and another thing happens. So on that one, I was trying to think about keeping my feet together from the get-go, but then I went off to the side, which tends to be one of the things that I do when I'm not thinking about it. A couple things to think about. You wanna travel. A lot of people go straight up in their handspring, and then it's like this really weird arc, and then they come crashing down. Another problem that people run into is they don't get their arms fully back. They don't get them like back behind their ears. I'm always telling people, put your arms back behind your ears, there. Because when you, especially when you do the throwing one, it's like you throw and you only get to here. So that when you come around, your arms are actually in front of you and you're not hitting that handstand. That's not good for your shoulders at all. I've gotten like shoulder injuries, chronic shoulder injuries for doing that. So you always, 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 no matter whether you're doing the bounder, the standing, or the arm swing, you always want to get those arms here before you launch. If you could magnetize your biceps to your ears, that's where you'd want to be. And then you're in a safe place to go through the handstand and kick over. Another thing, and these freak me out, but is to get one of these squishy foam blocks to keep your legs together, put it in between your ankles, and this will help you to remember to like squeeze your legs together. So I'm gonna put it like above, right above my ankles. And the goal is to keep it there. If you get freaked out by props like I do, this may not be the best idea for you, because when I put another mental input into that I have to think about, other things like go wrong. So that was not really successful, and I don't want to tempt fate. So I'm going to put the foam block away. The other thing that a coach once told me was for timing, you think about the phrase, ride the wave hands feet. And that's when you're doing the arm swing version. So you're still getting that sit, but right after the sit, you're pushing off of your toe, then your hands, then your feet. So we have ride the wave hands feet. And that was, I think, a pretty good one. Working on keeping those feet together. So now I'm starting with my feet actually together. Ride the wave hands feet. And I think that was a good one. To recap, you want the angle. If you're boundering into it, the feet go in front of the hips, which are in front of the arms. Send yourself over. The standing, without the arm swing, you have to kind of take a little bit of a jump and lean back a little bit and go. And if you're doing the arm swing, you have to make sure that you swing back like you're gonna sit down in a chair. Then the arms swing all the way up, you push off of your feet and go hands into your handstand and feet, all the while squeezing everything together. Back handsprings are not easy. They're scary to start. Some people like to use the octagons. I don't, like I said, I don't love employing props into my stuff. You could use a belt. We have a belt system. If you have good coaches and you trust them, you can have them hand spot you, or they have like a little manual belt system where you have your belt around and it's hooked up to 2 straps. You have 2 people holding you. That's also pretty effective. Those are some tips that I have as the geriatric gymnast. I hope that they were helpful for you. If they were, comment, like, whatever you do on social media, and good luck. Let me know if any of this helped.